Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you a story about the time I realized I was transgender. So I felt like it was time for me to make this story time so then I could move on with myself, because I've always just been afraid to talk about this because I was afraid of, the judgment. Some of you might not know, but the LGBTQ plus community, it's a great community, but also has some bad apples. There are people within the community who would like gatekeep you, like for example the whole pansexuality, bisexuality thing, like that's like a really big thing that there's a lot of disagreements and hate, because some bisexual folks that think that pansexuality doesn't exist, it shouldn't exist, and that you're pretty much biphobic if you're pansexual, and I do not agree with that at all. So that's just one example of how the LGBTQ plus community can also be kind of toxic. It has some bad apples and everything. So yeah, I was just mostly afraid to like talk about this to anyone, and even to just like think about it myself, because I was just afraid of the judgment. Because if some of you don't know, like a while back, like I think maybe last year or something, I actually got like a really hurtful hate comment. It wasn't a typical, I think I might have talked about this on social media or in one of my videos when I did like my 2020 year review, I think. I don't know. It's been a while, I remember, but I mentioned that I got like this really bad hate comment about my identity, and it was honestly my first like hate comment about my identity, because normally when I get hate comments, it's something petty, it's nothing about like my sexuality or my identity. It's just something really petty, and normally I will brush those off. But with this, it was really hurtful, because it was literally attacking my identity, and it's pretty much just one of the reasons why I've just been so afraid to like come out and talk about something as personal as how I even realized I was trans. And some of you might be like like, what's going on, like what, like how, like why is it such a big deal when you realize you were trans, and why are you afraid of judgment? But I'll get into that. But yeah, I just basically wanted to get that out the way, that this is really a big deal for me. And at the time of you guys will see this video, it'll be my birthday. I'll be 26 the day that you guys will be seeing this video. So I guess this is also kind of like, not only is it, this video is for me to just move on within myself, but it's also kind of like like I'm getting older, so I need to like leave these type of like judgments and whatnot behind me and everything, because I realized I was trans back in, I want to say between 2013 2014, so it was like right out of high school. So it's been like maybe 8, 9, I don't even know, years. But I only like just started to actually put in the effort to be who I am inside, like for the past few years or so. But yeah, I'm rambling, I'm sorry. There's probably gonna be a lot of rambling, because this video I'm like pretty nervous about, and I'm sorry if I keep looking at the viewfinder. I'm gonna have to get used to not constantly staring at myself. But anyways, so yeah, so let me just get into it and stop all this rambling. So like I said, back in between 2013 and 2014 is when I pretty much discovered I was transgender. I'm a trans guy. It was like right out of high school, like literally right after high school. After I graduated, everything, that's when just all of this started, hitting me, the anxiety, the this and that. So it was pretty, it was a lot. It was a lot. And then, trying to find like a therapist, but then the one I saw wasn't really a gender therapist. And I just had some issues with her, but that's another story for another time maybe. But yeah, so basically, one night I was watching this K-drama. What was it called? I think it was called To the Beautiful You. It's a really good K-drama, by the way, and it's actually based off of the popular manga. I think Hanekime. I actually have the manga. I'll show you guys, because I already showed this in my like bookshelf tour and all that. But yeah, so okay, there you go. Yeah, so this is the manga that the K-drama was based off of, and it's called Hanekime. So yeah, I really enjoy this series. I love this series. Like, I've seen like a lot of adaptations of it. I've seen I haven't even actually read this manga yet, but I've seen the K-drama adaptation, I've seen the Taiwanese adaptation, I've seen a bit of the Japanese adaptation. So I love this story so much. And so the K-drama that I watched, it was based off of this, and it was called To the Beautiful You. So I was watching To the Beautiful You, and To the Beautiful You, or Hanekime, I guess I should say, is pretty much about this girl who has this big crush on this guy who is an athlete. And so it was just one of those things where she decided that she really wanted to like get close to him. She wants to meet him, go to the same school as him. But unfortunately, he went to like an all boys athlete school. So of course, in order for her to even go to this school, she would have to dress up as a guy and present herself as a guy, be a guy and everything. So that's basically what the entire drama and pretty much the manga is about. And it's really good. I do recommend you guys watching this. But yeah, so the big thing about Hanekime, To the Beautiful You, is that I guess other than me just really liking the storyline, I guess in a way it also holds a special place in my heart, because it is the drama that made me realize that I'm trans. And because I wonder, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like Sexuality Awakening or like Identity Awakening, but I've seen people say online how how they would say when they were like they were a little kid and they watched this TV show that had like a attractive male and a female, and so they would basically say like, oh, this show awakened my bisexuality. This is my bisexuality awakening, because the main male lead and the main female lead, I fell in love with. They're super hot. So it's basically like that for me. Like To the Beautiful You was basically my identity awakening, and that's why I was just afraid of the judgment, because of what the story is about and how it made me realize I was trans. But anyways, so I was watching the K-drama and I was really into it. And basically, it's just, as I was watching it, it felt like something in me clicked. Like it just, like if any of you have ever experienced, sexuality awakening, gender identity awakening, then you'll probably understand like how I'm feeling. But it was basically just something inside me clicked, and it's like I felt like all this time I've been living a lie, basically. Like since I was younger up until after you know, a little after I graduated from high school, it just it just made me realize that I've been living a lie like with my life. And so yeah, it's just, this is a heavy topic to talk about, but yeah, it just made me realize that, you know, my life just wasn't really what I thought it was. I'm not really a cis person, a cis woman. I'm actually trans. Like, I want to be a guy, you know, this and that. And yeah, so and it was hard because I had to, like, of course, open up to my mom about it. So after I realized that, you know, something inside me clicked, and that, you know, I was not born to be a woman. I should have been born as a guy, and I'm meant to be a guy. So after I realized that, it was pretty late. It was I guess it was maybe midnight, after midnight. I don't know. I like to stay up. I'm a night owl. I like to stay up. So it was probably even later than that. But yeah, so I decided that I needed to talk to my mom about this. So I just, you know, went to bed, and then the next day I was going to talk to her about it. But trust and believe, I was nervous. Like, just thinking about it, I was like, I'm gonna have to talk about this, you know. and I know it probably sounds crazy, like, as soon as I realized that, you know, I was not, you know, meant to be a woman, I was meant to be a guy, I just jumped right to, like, opening up, you know, coming out to my mom. But that's how close we are, because I know other trans people, you know, people who aren't cis, you know, don't have that luxury. Like, because as soon as they realize that they're, you know, not cis, they probably feel like, you know, they have to continue to hide themselves, because, you know, they don't want to get that judgment or get kicked out. So in a way, I was pretty, you know, thankful and lucky that I didn't really have to go through that, but it was still nerve-wracking. So the next morning, as soon as I woke up, I just, you know, I just gathered myself and I went into my mom's room. And thankfully, my stepdad, he was in the kitchen, so I was able to talk to my mom by myself, because, you know, I was only comfortable talking to her about it. I wasn't even comfortable talking to my stepdad or anybody else about it. I just wanted this to be between me and her, because, you know, I trusted her the most in everything. But yeah, so I went into my mom's room and I basically, you know, just told her how I felt. And, you know, of course, like any other parent, she was like, are you sure you're not a tomboy? Like, you know, this and that. And I was like, nah, like that. And it's funny because that never even crossed my mind. And again, that's another reason why I really am thankful for, you know, the journey that I've been put on, because other people, especially, you know, trans people, they have a much harder, like, you know, for them, they have to hide themselves. Or when they first came out, they came out as a lesbian, you know, like that's, you know, a big thing too, with trans guys, is that most of them, you know, when they do come out, they come out as a lesbian because they probably think like, or they felt like they had to hide their gender identity, or they probably felt like, oh, you know, since I'm, you know, into being masculine and all that, I must be a lesbian, I must be a tomboy. Well, for me, that wasn't the case at all. Like, being a tomboy never even crossed my mind, because when I was in high school, like, my style was kind of all over the place, because sometimes I would be into wearing t-shirts well, that's why I really liked was wearing graphic t-shirts like I'm wearing right now. But I enjoy wearing graphic t-shirts, and I enjoy wearing skinny jeans. But then at the same time, some other time I might wear something a bit more feminine, and that just wasn't comfortable to me. So basically in high school, I never really saw myself as a tomboy. It was just one of those things where I wasn't comfortable with being, feminine, but then at the same time I wasn't comfortable with being labeled as a tomboy. So when my mom was asking like, are you a tomboy, you know are you sure you're not just a tomboy, I was like, that I was literally like, that never even crossed my mind. Like that literally never crossed my mind that I could just be a tomboy, because that just wasn't the label that I felt comfortable with. Like I didn't feel comfortable with still being called a girl, but I just enjoy wearing guy clothes. Like I felt more comfortable with, you know, being called a guy, having he, him pronouns, all this stuff. So, so I was just like, that never even crossed my mind, all that. And so we just talked a bit, and I honestly can't even remember like how the conversation left off, but I want to say it left off on a good note. Like, my mom didn't judge me at all. She's pretty like open and accepting. So it's like after that we pretty much didn't talk about it anymore. But I do remember a while ago she did tell me that she did hope it was a face, which I'm not even surprised, because that's how it is with, most adults, most parents. They hope, or they felt like it was just a phase for their kids. So my mom did, openly say that she hoped that, it was just a phase for me, but it was not a phase, as you can see. But yeah, so after that day, we pretty much didn't talk about it anymore. I did, and like I said at the beginning of this video, I did try to like go see a therapist, because I just really needed to talk to someone who, wasn't my mom, and who could like actually help me. But the one in the area was not a gender therapist, and I like, if any of you are like pre-T, just realizing you're trans, just coming out, whatever, I do not recommend going to any therapist that isn't a gender therapist that specializes in, trans identity, all that stuff, because it's really helpful to be with someone who has knowledge on trans people. Because the therapist I went to, she upfront said that she doesn't have like any trans patients, and she never really worked in that type of area. But despite all that, I still went to her, because again, I needed to talk to someone. And basically it was a waste of time. Like basically my whole like therapy sessions with her was just a waste of time, because we never really talked much about being trans. And I even remember when we was talking about the journey I'm going on, she sounded happy in a way that it was just kind of like, what? Like, being on this journey of being a trans person is not a happy journey at all. Like, it's a journey, but it is not a happy journey, because you have to go through, transitioning socially, physically, and all that. So it's like when she was all like, I can't wait to go on this, journey with you, it just put me off, because it's like, how are you happy about going on this journey? Like, why are you happy about this journey that I have to go on? Like, because it's like, okay, so it's like, on one hand, it's like, yeah, I am ready to like start transitioning, like socially and physically. But when it comes down to it, it's not like really, like, it is exciting, but it's not something to be happy about. I don't know if that even made sense, but because I know some people might feel like they're happy to be trans or they're proud to be trans. But for me, I don't really feel that way, because for me, I wish I was either a cis woman, or I could accept myself as a cis woman, or I was just born as a cis guy. Like, that's just how it is for me. Like, I'm not totally happy with having to deal with being trans. Like, I really wish that I could accept myself as being a cis woman, or I just wish I was completely born as a cis guy. So it's like this whole journey thing. It's like, to me, it's not really something to be, happy about. So that put me off. And then I finally decided to not go to her, because we ended up having to move away anyway. So I was pretty happy about that. But yeah, so like I said, don't go to a therapist who doesn't specialize in like gender therapy and all that, because it'll just be a huge waste of time. And you might get some therapist who, was like her, who doesn't really get that this is a difficult journey to go on. So yeah, so pretty much after that, and we ended up moving to the state that I'm currently living in. Me and my mom, again, didn't really talk about the whole trans thing. I didn't really put any effort to like find another therapist. So I was basically just existing but not living. And that's how I'm feeling right now anyways. Like, for the past dozen years, it feels like I've just been existing but not living. But anyways, but then one day, what year was it 2016, 2017? Honestly can't remember. I'm terrible at like dates and years and stuff like that. But then a few years later, I just said to myself, like, I have to get a therapist who is a gender therapist, and I have to get on testosterone. So that's basically what I did. So me and my mom found a gender therapist here that I've been going to for a few years, but I decided to stop going to her because I have my own issues with her. But yeah, so I was finally on the track of how I am, like where I am today, just being on testosterone. I've been on testosterone for like 2 years now, and I have been seeing exciting side effects like facial hair growth and my period stopping, all that. So it's been awesome, and my voice dropping, awesome. But yeah, so I guess that's it. I seriously hope that this story time made sense, and my battery's about to run out. I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope the story time made sense, because this was like my first story time, but I do want to keep making story time. I actually have another story time that I want to make during Halloween, so I'm gonna do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the story time and like this video if you like it. Subscribe for more content like this. Share this video. I hope the story time made sense, because I know I rambled and I was like all over the place, but I just really felt like I needed to like talk about this and just open up about like how I realized I was trans and everything. So yeah, I guess that's it. I got to charge my battery now because it's blinking. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know down below if you've ever, if you're also trans, if you ever experienced something like this. Just let's talk. So anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video.